Hello everyone, and welcome to my Hypermedia project analysis. I really enjoyed putting this website together and had an opportunity to share some of the lessons that I've learned about screencasting over the last several years. I started off as an instructional design specialist at OSU OKC in 2007 and later transitioned into a faculty role in 2008. And from the time that I reached campus, one of the things that I was really adamant about sharing with faculty members was screencasting. So I was really delighted to have an opportunity to put this project together. I'd like to walk you through beginning with some of my supporting documentation. And my website is designed to be used by novice screencasters. I think I did a good job supporting, challenging, and sharing information with that target audience. Those three things, supporting, challenging, and sharing, are sometimes competing goals. However, I think that because of the different variety of documents that I used, I did a good job doing all three. I wanted to create a hypertextual document which users could explore. I used articles from blog sites, from EDUCAUSE, from Wired Magazine, TechSmith, and a handout that I created. I did a good job combining peer-reviewed, editorial, web-based, and proprietary materials for my supporting materials. I also wanted to make sure that this was going to be an effective visual communication document and that I was doing a good job as a visual communicator. I had some great suggestions from my usability study. And one of the suggestions provided to me by a friend who is an instructional designer was to minimize some of my page clutter. And I had planned on subdividing out hardware and software here, very similar to the way that I have subdivided out face-to-face, flipped, and learning. The suggestion that I got was that there wasn't really enough content there for those to be their own pages, and that it would be a better job or a better idea just to go ahead and include those as individual pages. So I followed that advice and kind of minimized some subdirectory sprawl. I'm excited about how the project turned out. I filtered every design decision that I made through the prism of target user analysis, and I believe that my target audience, novice educational screencasters, will get a lot of benefit out of my site. I'd like to answer kind of the second component now, and that is focus on why. And I want to talk about some decisions that I made with regard to color. I'm going to go ahead and pull up here the triadic color wheel. And as you can see, one of the colors that I chose was this color of orange. And that corresponds somewhat nicely to somewhere in between this first one and this third one right here. Well, in terms of triadic color wheel, purple is pretty close. But so is highlighted kind of magenta or what a hypertextual link usually looks like after you clicked on it. And here this blue and this blue are also kind of similar in terms of the triadic color wheel. So I used sort of the triadic color wheel, as we all know because we're OSU fans. Any orange and white and black combined with a little bit of gray is usually a winning combination. I wanted to have kind of a cool sort of image that appeared on every page as part of my header that reflected what was going on. And I thought that this image that I found of this sort of all-in-one integrated computer with a young person and a lot of folks who are going to try screencasting, I perceive to be maybe 20-somethings who are just getting into an education program or just graduating from an education program, or who have just completed a master's degree and now in the process of generating material to really be part of that target audience. So I wanted to use a graphic that appealed to that target audience, and I wanted to use colors that would appeal potentially to people who are OSU fans or even just people who appreciate the use of the triadic color wheel. I wanted to use hypertext, and I wanted to use effective images. I have a number of integrated videos in the website. Obviously, we all had to integrate some type of a quiz, and I was really pleased the way that the quiz turned out. I didn't really like the look of my layout of my quiz for a while, but I edited it in Notepad and made some preferences with regard to font, and that turned out really well. Obviously, one of the biggest innovators in the field of screencasting is Salman Khan, and the innovative educator who brought us the Khan Academy online. And I thought that after viewing Tony Smith's really interesting webpage about gaming, that his use of the McGonigal Tech Talk with regard to gamification was really, really innovative and cool. And I remembered that Salman Khan had also delivered a Tech Talk, and looked that up and found that and decided to integrate that as an element on my homepage. One of the things that I don't like about a lot of web pages is you don't really know sometimes if you can trust that information. And even though it may be a little narcissistic, I wanted to establish my bona fides on the web page. And I've really familiar with screencasting. I've done a lot of them, and I had some expertise to share with regard to that. In particular, I wanted to highlight some of the stuff that I've done in faculty development and adult education and grant writing. I've also won awards for screencasts that I've done through the Central Oklahoma chapter of the American Society of Training and Development. So I wanted to include all of that information so that people would have confidence about what I was telling them about screencasting. Here is a page where I linked a number of those different resources, things that I found in InfoWorld, things that I found on EDUCAUSE. And there are a lot of folks who I think appreciate the fact that you're leading with information. In addition to that, I wanted to talk about 3 different ways in which you can use a screencast. This video is one that I won an award for producing from the American Society of Training and Development. And in the process of doing a number of training sessions, this is a PowerPoint slideshow or a PowerPoint slide that I've actually produced that was sort of a mock email that I said that a young student had sent to me. And this is, something that resonates with faculty members, with teachers. Did I miss anything important? Can you drop everything and rearrange your schedule, to take care of me as a student? So I think that's a great reason to use screencasts. And once again, I was trying to hook the novice learner in with images and in with text so that they would continue to explore my website. This is another kind of artifact that I've recycled from professional development. I did a series of professional development lectures for the OSU OKC faculty about a flipped classroom, and I ran across this interesting thing from Newton.com. And because my website is about screencasting, I thought that there needed to be a number of examples of screencasts on the web page. And I was able to do that. I was also able to use a lot of images, and I thought that these images that I produced here were also good. Once again, the screencast is fundamentally audio that's recorded through a microphone and video that's recorded off of your screen. Well, if what's happening on your screen is boring or not visually provocative, then your screencast is going to be boring. And I thought that it was very important to share with my learners why their screencasts needed to be exciting and how they could make those screencasts to be exciting. So I recommended a textbook. I recommended that we use images from these various different websites, and how to integrate those images into their PowerPoints. And if they're producing really good PowerPoints, most of the screen capture technology is used essentially as a way to do a voice over a PowerPoint, and if you've got that element, then you're set. In addition to that, I wanted to kind of talk about cost, and this is an image that I shared from Google, and I wanted my users to see that you can use a $5 microphone, or you can use a $200 microphone and produce some quality webcasts. You just have to get in there and kind of get after it. From a what could be improved perspective. Some of the videos are a little longer than I would like for them to be. For instance, one of my classmates recommended that I shorten the Salman Khan video. I think that's a great idea. I will probably do that in the future. In addition to that, I think what could be made better would be more cooperation, in particular with information services, and the more use of professionally kind of produced video, more use of team resources. I could use more interactive elements and possibly a printable certificate if you can verify that you score a certain percent on some type of an interactive quiz at the very end of the website. I could also talk about why my site is user-friendly. I think that my site is user-friendly because It reaches out to the target audience, and because I didn't use a wiki, which would require additional credentialing, instead I just used a Google form, and almost all users have some type of Google credentials. For that reason and for many others, I think that my users will recognize that this is information for teachers by a teacher, and I think the teachers will use it. And I also think that I did a good job managing my credibility with proper spelling and punctuation and grammar. That's always something that you look at, to determine whether or not you think, this is a good resource. So I think that the website is very user friendly. I think that I made some good design decisions. I think that I did a good job integrating screen grabs and screen casting into the file. I also had a number of different sort of how-tos, such as this PDF that were integrated. And I really liked the fact that I had these 59 tips from TechSmith. I think that I did a good job also setting up this interactive element here in Google Forms. So all my decisions were filtered through what is best for the learners, and how can I get them to keep clicking and keep learning, and to keep cycling through the information. And I think that I did a good job. I'm pleased with the progress I've made thus far. It's not perfect yet. I hope to recruit a team of people, most notably our media specialist, to help me edit some of the videos, and to help me use some of that video content in a more effective way. Thank you for listening to my Hypermedia project analysis. Have a good day.